Today, I have the lovely Kathryn Toomey on the Awaken Feminine podcast. Kathryn is joining me all the way from Melbourne in Australia, same country, different time zones. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
How are you today?
I'm really good. Yes, I
Yeah,
started the day really well
that's
with a
awesome.
lovely massage.
I love it. I'm due for a massage for sure. I've been like, oh, when can I fit it in? So, too bad you're in Melbourne. So, I need to find someone here in Perth. So, Kathryn, before we get started, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to the audience, to our audience, so that they know who you are and what you do.
My name is Kathryn, and I've worked as a massage therapist. I picked up a certificate in 2002, and I worked in a part-time business offering massage therapy. I then took a little bit of a break because of having children. And then when I went back to the workforce, I just sort of took whatever came along, which ended up being customer service and some accounting, clerking. And then I decided I wanted to get back into massage. So in 2019, I started working towards creating another business for myself.
Awesome. Oh, and you forgot that you're an author.
Oh, yes. Well, just recently, I've released a chapter into two books. So the first one is Lunar Wisdom, and the second one is Magnetic Abundance. And they're both multi author books that really just discuss my massage therapy love and just kind of take the reader through some story of my life.
Yeah, beautiful. And congratulations for sharing your story and becoming like a number one international best-selling author. So that's
Yeah.
super amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Now, before we jump into your journey, because I really love to explore your journey with you, can you can you share with us what is your definition of an awakened feminine?
Strength to me, because being physically strong is just, I find, really, I think just in massage therapy it's just such a bonus, but I just think in a physical body, if you know your strength, it comes out in other areas of life. And I think resilience, so rolling with the punches. And I really love character, so I think character is what makes me feel energized about a person.
Mm, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And Kathryn, I really love to dive into your journey a bit more. You mentioned that you did massage therapy back in 2002, then you had a bit of a break because children, and I know what it's like to have children and, things just they don't really take the path that you thought you'll take. And then you decided to go back to massage therapy. So I'd love for you to maybe break it down for us. Like, what was the catalyst that really reignited your love for massage therapy to go, actually, I'm actually going to go back after, well, actually, that was quite a long 20 years.
That was 15 or so
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'd love for you to just, yeah, break down your story and share it with us.
Yeah, sure. So I had another daughter in 2015, and we had like a mums group that would get together every week with a newborn. And this was run, like locally. And one of the group meetings, they had a massage therapist come in, but they were like experienced as a baby massage therapist. And so they taught us how to massage our little babies. And I just kind of did it. And I wasn't thinking about having like another baby 10 years after my last was a really physical experience.
I will say so.
Um, yeah, and I was quite a lot older. I think I was around 40, 44, 45. So that's, kind of, in the trenches as far as having a little baby goes. And I was so nervous, and I was so fortunate that everything went really well. And I'm doing the massage. I'm like, this is so fun. I feel this connection. I feel like all the tingly, vibes. Um, And then I started to do the massage with my little baby just kind of regularly because it was something that we could do. And I'm quite a tactile person, so I really enjoyed that. And then we just went with it. And then I was doing other sorts of work. I was just doing supermarket promotions and things like that. But I was obviously taking care of her in between. So then we just grew into this routine, and then the routine became something that I was confident with. And then I was in the process of completing a certificate 3 in travel and tourism. That's what I was doing. And I completed that. And then I thought, oh, what am I going to do? It's time to get into the workforce. What am I going to do? And then I thought, oh, what about massage therapy? And I think it's because if you have options, then it's a recourse. So, I obviously felt like I had more work to do in that industry. Or I felt like I hadn't really completed anything because I'd started a part-time business, but then I'd left. I'd had to get out of that through not really any fault of my own. And I never really could get back into it because just taking care of children was hard. I had 2 children under 2, so it was hard. And so I looked up all the business strategies and the associations and started calling all the associations at this point in 2019 to say, what can I do with my current qualification? And the funny thing is, I actually only missed out by a day to be able to use the qualification I had from 2002. I know, hilarious. I know. It was like, something to do with there's a 10-year or maybe even 20-year, I'm not sure. But there's a gap that the associations gave to me, and it was like, just this one day. And so they recommended to do a diploma. And so, I'm writing. I do a lot of research for things. Did all my research and then went about putting ads in the Facebook marketplace to see if I could encourage anybody to come and get a massage off me. And I was just at that stage where my little one was going to daycare as well. So I was having time to come home and kind of twiddle my thumbs and go, what am I going to do? And it also just seemed like social media was kind of doing a bit of a screening of further emphasis. It's probably even just simple things like maybe I got a new computer and stuff like that. I think all those things just kind of, they create a really amazing energy that just pushed me forward. So I put my ads in. I used to get between 10 and 20 ads a day, and then I'd have to take the ad down. So I'd fill up a book, schedule all these appointments, and I had all the information set out explaining that I was a student. What I did in my research is to try and get 80 hours. My plan was to get 80 hours, and if after 80 hours I was still super keen, then I'll enroll in a diploma course. So that was September 2019. So from September through to 2020, when I enrolled, I did at least 80 hours of massage. And it just seemed to go really well. I just took my table. I just had this incredible confidence that I never seemed to have before, and just did it, just met people and enjoyed the experience. I felt rewarded. I had I think I had the interest to do, proper intake forms with people, and just getting to know people after being home with a baby for so long was also just super fun. It was really exciting. In 2020, I did a course at a college in Melbourne, and it was a 12-month course in massage therapy, a diploma. So I had a certificate, and then I was going to get a diploma. And then, of course, the whole pandemic thing happened. So that really put the course on hold. But it didn't put my business on hold. So I only stopped working when I had to. Otherwise, I just kept working. So I still got about 6 to 8 months in 2020 and in 2021 of solid clients, enough to sort of create all the right energies for a business. So a business name, a business association, business groups, business business cards, just all the things that tick the box where you go, I'm really doing this. This is going to be amazing. So that's really been the journey for me to sort of get there. And then, of course, do with the process with the multi-author books, it's just made it even more exciting because I was already a bit of a speaker for massage just because of my background I've got a background in acting. I studied acting for a long time, as well as being interested in massage. Just in the last few years, I was also interested in doing children's incursion work as an acting assistant for children's acting. But I think it's all very much similar to just sort of giving or gifting or trying to nurture people's spirit and energy. So I just kind of try and click into that and act gently.
I just loved everything you just shared. And first of all, I didn't know how old you are. And I'm like, I thought you were around I just turned 40 like last year. So I thought you were like my age, but you're in your 50s.
I just turned, but yeah.
I'm just like, you look freaking amazing.
Oh, that's really kind. Thank you.
So anyway, that aside, I was just like, oh, really? Didn't think, not that I think 50 is old or anything, but I just thought you were my age. But what I love about your journey is you're just someone that went, I'm just going to do it. And you just got on with it and things just happen. Like that's how easy it should be to just manifest and create the life that we want. And it's all about decision making, taking action. And you just did it like without, I mean, I don't know if you got in your head or anything. I'll ask you that question in a second, but it's just this beautiful journey of going, oh yeah, I just want to serve people. This feels good to me. I'm just going to try it out. If I like it, I'm going to do it. And it's just beautiful seeing that journey. And even your author journey, like what you said before, you help give love to people, by giving them massages, but also you're also doing that through sharing your story, which is really important because I think storytelling and sharing stories is like next level of nurturing people's spirits, because we need to nurture our body, but also our mind and spirit. So I just love it. Love your journey.
I think it's really interesting or funny even that I did all that without thinking. I didn't have any like goals in a way, because my goal fortunately was to get this additional education. And I think that really helped because it was kind of like a bit of a trolley to kind of guide me to where I needed to go. But I just didn't have anything but faith. And I just had so much joy to be talking to people in exactly my world on my terms, and not having a boss was amazing. Not having, a timetable other than one that I created for myself in each week that I perceived as a week I was creating. And then to be able to come under there and then do all the accounting and all of that, I was like, oh, wow, like I've got all these skills and talents that I never used. And that's what made any previous work that I had been doing not like a satisfactory experience. It was one-dimensional, whereas I feel what I'm doing now is 3 or sometimes even 4-dimensional, because I'm creating. And then I do feel like that's, like you say, the idea that I then go back and do a story about it is equally thrilling, because like you say, you get to this age and then you want to go, what have I done? What have I really accomplished? What makes me think when I was younger that I was going to do anything special if I haven't, my bar has been raised just exceptionally because of, I guess, just like you say, taking that leap of faith. And I think all the love that you do get when you're nurturing a little one as well is just, it's encompassing. It's incredible. Family support is really important.
Was one of the deciding factors for you to go back to massage, like your little one, like being able to continue having that kind of routine schedule where you can spend time with her, or was that not part of it?
Yeah, it was. It was completely the reason why the door just opened, and it just became this thing where as long as I could do it, then there was nothing to stop me from climbing into that world. And so I just kept going and going and going with that and pushing really hard with the, like even the pickups and things like that. There was always a little bit of stretching when I was studying to get from here to here and those kind of dynamics. But I think that's part of the fun. It's better than just not trying. You have to really push. And I feel like I have. So I feel like I feel very lucky. I feel very fortunate to be in this situation.
I just love how easy you make it. And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, like just listening to you talk, when you went into it, there was like no expectations of like, I think as like I'm speaking for myself here, like when you go into business, sometimes you have these big, massive goals, right? I think a lot of people do. They're like, I want to make $1 million, right? Yeah. And then they're like, oh, but how do I do that? And then they freeze and they have all these expectations in their head. So then they don't do anything. But it feels like for you, it's like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do it and then see what happens. That just feels like what it was for you. Is that?
I think I tricked myself and I treated it a little bit like a relationship. So I was kind of like, I'm going to have that first date, see how that goes, and then write it, journal it out. And then I'll have 2 more dates. How's that going? That's going pretty good. All right, we'll journal all that out too. And then we're like, oh, let's buy a top, So I was there only like 12 months in and I was getting T-shirts made for my company and a little mouse pad because I'm a bit of a merch crazy person. So like straight away mouse pad and T-shirt for my business. And then it's just rolling along. And I realized that it's become something I can't turn my back on now. It's something that I have to respond to because of client need. And it's also, it's such a part of me to be offering something that I can do. There's no overhead of fear. It's just a skill, and I feel quite lucky about that. Actually, I think everyone has their thing. So, as a generalization, I just feel so filled with gratitude that I found my thing that I can just do, and I can just wave my hands, and then I just feel like I'm accomplishing in some way some ideal that I'm assisting someone with their pain in their body. And yes.
Yeah, I love that. I really do. Thank you for showing us another way of doing things, because I think, there's so much noise out there. Sometimes we just get into our heads because we're looking at all the noise out there. But when you are just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do it my way and just keep going, things just work out. And I just love that. That's what your journey has been. I want to ask you more about your author journey. So how did you get into multi-author books?
Okay, well, first I'll tell you this amazing thing that happened. So in the end of 2017, I just got a new iPhone and I was super excited and I was playing with it, and I just had a little baby. So I was just kind of like, you sit here, Mummy's got a new phone. and I had this plan to go to the Mind Body Spirit Festival, and I was watching all the videos that I could find just because I was still quite nervous about even just leaving the house a little bit around having a little baby. You just don't go out that, you don't go out that much. And so I decided to go, and off I went, entered into a competition with a publishing group called White Light Publishing House, I think, and they're incredibly amazing, and they have a lot of, they sell a lot of esoteric books. So they're kind of really, and a lot of self-help books, and I really like them because they're quite homegrown and quite genuine, and I feel like they have a really high integrity. And I won their book publishing competition. So, and I didn't even know what that meant. When they rang me to say you've won, I thought they said you've won some books. I thought, oh, that's wonderful. And then they said, we'll send you through an email. And I'm like, oh, a list of books. Okay, that sounds great. But because, I didn't know anything about publishing, and I wasn't like, I wasn't even in that headspace. I was just, I actually have a lot of luck at that festival. I think every time I go, I literally come back with a prize, between $500 and $2,000. But that's beside the
That's
point.
awesome. I
I
love
have
that.
a lot of luck there. So I won a book publishing competition, and I decided I wanted to write a children's book because my life experience had started with children. So I had started off life as a fairy, working in children's fairy shops and places that run children's fairy birthday parties, where you take your children and 10 friends and run a birthday party. So I used to run the birthday parties. I used to work in the fairy shop, worked in a few different fairy shops or similar sorts of shops, dressing as a fairy and telling children's stories, which I just really, really loved. But this was long before children. This was at the beginning. So I think I just had that turnaround where I just thought, and I had my daughter who was 2, and I just thought, I'm going to make this her little story. This can be a book I write on her behalf, and then Mummy's going to have a book. That's pretty good. That's not for nothing. So I did illustrations for that using Photoshop, which I knew nothing about. But I used my heart to just take photos of objects that I had from my childhood and just miniaturize them from their actual size down to, like 2 or 3 centimeters, to put them all inside a stylized book, which I've actually got here to show you. So that's the book. Yeah. So I just used photos, added some story, and that became a book that was released in 2018. And then I just sat tight with that. And I think that for me was like such an incredible confidence. It boosted my confidence in the most incredible way, because it just gave me something to sell, because I love that. And it also was, from a nurturing perspective, there's so many great things about the areas that in health and autism and things like that book has ended up landing in the hands of. So for me, I'm really, really proud of it. And then I think with what's happened with me and actually writing for adults is the opportunity is just so incredible. For me, I really wanted to write. I really did. And I'd start writing, but I couldn't grab a story or a part of me that I could make be really interesting or important to someone else. It just sounded like somebody else talking or something on the train. It didn't sound very interesting. And then I think the book 𝐊𝐴 Wisdom is the book that really grabbed me, because I had been following this multi-author book pathway. So through White Light Publishing, they had a multi-author book called Malta Mum, which I loved. And I read that and I was like, wow, I want to be like these people, I wish I could start a business. This is before I started business. I wish, just make all that come to me, make it happen. And I really thought about it a lot, actually. So I'm forever kind of indebted in that headspace where I have to believe that things can happen if they're genuine and they come from a place of integrity. I just think the world goes, wow, no one's looking at that space. Here you go. And that's how I feel about it. And again, with Lunar Wisdom, this is talking about the moon, which I only really through COVID started to look up, I think, a little bit, because I was so nervous about those times. And I think the moon seemed to me in a lot of ways to be the only constant that I could feel, because I was quite isolated as a solo parent with a little child, sort of at home, not going out a lot, and having just started a new business as well. And yeah, so I read that multi-author book. I then have another publisher friends. I read their multi-author book. And then I started to see a lot of other people doing these books, and I just thought, and then I went pounce on Lunar Wisdom. I went, yes, that's my one, because I saw, that there was this opportunity. And then one day I just went, and just like looked away. And then I was like, yes, And I was so proud of myself because it was very challenging to speak about the parts of my life that had actually been really quite private. And it was such a good opportunity to just kind of see that there was a smoothing, for everyone. I don't want to say everyone, but just for me. I mean, I guess just for work life, to be able to move forward in a work life, in a relationship life, in a mum life, just to be able to give just some background on a person, myself, but then share a story with 11 other ladies that are also putting in their story. So it's kind of, I don't really know, because it's talking about the moon, and when I talk about the moon, I get quite lost because I get so enthusiastic from the point of view of sitting my little one down to watch the moon landing, which we did during lockdown. I'm like, sit down, you got to watch this. We've landed on the moon. See that we've been there. Now we move forward from that. How do we do that? Because she's very interested in science. So yeah, I think the multi-author book for Lunar Wisdom has just been an incredible journey. And again, I just feel so much gratitude for being in a space where I was invited to be a part of that book.
Yeah, beautiful. I love your journey of, writing, just kind of get like winning this children's book, becoming a becoming like publishing author.
Yeah, publishing. Yeah.
And then you go, oh, I'm going to do a children's book, and then having your own book, and it's quite a successful book. And now doing multi-author books. And I just love that you have that courage to share your story. It's not easy sharing your story. Even coming on podcasts is not easy to just talk about your life, because it is vulnerable. It is, you're kind of like exposing yourself to other people, but the people. Yeah, sorry.
It's hard to speak gratitude because it comes out of my mouth. So I'm like going, but it's like, it's trying to say I'm filled with so much gratitude, but I am. That's the kind of, because I'm a very forward journeying person.
Yeah. And it's just awesome that you decided to share your story, because whoever needs to hear or read your message is going to find it, and they will be so grateful. And that's passing that gratitude on and having more kindness in the world, and just that ripple effect that, people always talk about, which is cliche, but at the same time, it's so true. So you're putting yourself out there to help other people. So that's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Which leads me to ask you this question, because you talked about in Lunar Wisdom, it was the first time that you opened up to share, some of your more private journey. Are you able to share with us like something that has been really challenging for you in your life that you've gone through, and how you got through it?
Yeah. I think what I would speak about is mainly finding myself in a business role and not working for tax refunds, and not, just hideously undervaluing myself. So I can speak about trauma, but I'd really just rather push on and self-imagine that people that want to read about, experiences with trauma, the best thing for me to say is that to know that you're not alone, to know that other people have gone through really terrible things in their life and still managed to move forward. That's really what I'm trying to talk about. That's almost my strength, resilience, and character definition, where I really want to not, for people to not judge a book by its cover, and to really self-imagine that not everything is rosy, and that there are those people that just have a trauma or an experience in their life, and then they have a magic moment on the other side of that. And I just think that's where it's there is some balance for really strong people.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I want to ask you, we talked about multi-author books, And I find usually people that like writing also like reading. So are there any particular books that really helped you, throughout your life, or that you would recommend to our audience to read?
Yes, definitely. Okay, so my first book was May Cause Miracles by Gabrielle Bernstein. And when I read that book, I was like, no, come on. I was like, no, 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 no. But at the same time as I was reading that book, I actually started to read properly. So I started to consider myself as more than just a mum, like breastfeeding, like a little baby. Like I was actually intelligent. I had a brain. I could read books. And so anything by Gabrielle Bernstein, I would just so highly recommend, because the background of her books, like now there's many, but the background to her books are just so energized, and they really have an incredible power to subconsciously change what you think. So you might think this, then you read half of that book, and then you're reading the other half, which is a really good sign to start with. And you just start to realize that what she's saying is true. It's incredible. I'd also recommend, there's a book called More to Mum, which I just feel I just feel like that is just such a beautiful, soft book. It's the first book that I read, and it's available through White Light Publishing, I think. And also the Tea of Pooh I really recommend, because I'm a really big fan of Taoism and a really big fan of I just love just the more is solution. I really love it. Okay. And I also would recommend, this is a book called The Voices Within, and it's a little bit of a pagan book, which isn't really my thing, because I do love religion. I do love, like Christian, I'm Catholic. I really, love the ideology of Christianity, but I also I like the kind of the pagan welfare concept of the roots and the ground and the trees and coming up through the ground, and it's very Celtic and it's very old school, and it helps me to kind of feel those whispers and back to the moon. It just kind of sends me off balance a little bit from my otherwise normal self.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that, even though, you are Christian, and, and you have your beliefs around that, that you are open to explore other things, because there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, no, that's cool. Thank you so much for the recommendations. I have to search up Malta Mums, and I'm also a Gabby Bernstein fan. I read Super Attractor, and that changed my life. That really opened up my connection with spirit. So I'm very grateful for her and what she does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I want to talk about your mission, because, we have talked about your journey, going back, from massage therapy, then having a break, and then going back to massage therapy. We've talked about you doing multi-author books. Now, what is your mission in life, and why do you what makes you sing? What makes you
Yeah.
burst with energy?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I would say definitely somebody else feeling amazing because of the massage, because of massage therapy. I just find, maybe I'm attracted to these people, but I just find there's a lot of, I'm in my work, people come to me and they're in physical pain, and it's just astonishing how much pain they can be in. And you're like, how long have you been suffering this back pain? And they'll be like 6 months. And you're kind of like, it's such a good place to be, because you get to point the finger, but you also get to accept that this is happening right now. So it's actually creating a really fast sort of fix them situation, and steps So it's really great to be able to be in that situation with a person. They say they have been in back pain for 6 months, and then you show them the areas that they can improve. You show them stretches or exercises that they can do to improve. And then you give them, a time in their forward space without you, or without me in that case, to work on these areas. And then it's kind of like you make it like nothing, because it's nothing. They'll just go along and it's fixed. But I feel so much better. I feel so happy that it's like kind of educating, but it's kind of educating, but in this area where it's just a bit of a non-area. It's not like you're kind of not really taught at school for stretches and things like that. So it is a bit of a non-area. There's lots to do for massage if you're involved in sports and things, but then there is a bit of a grey area for work, H&R and things like that, where if you're injured, then, if you get neck pain, if you get headaches, then it would just be good. I just wish there was more governing agencies, to be honest. It's just that thing where, imagine if massage therapy was like McDonald's and you just like drove through and, got your massage and got your whole energy, your head and neck and shoulders and back and legs, they all become parts of your body after a massage. Whereas beforehand, it's all in your head. It's all just right, left, doing, action. It's all things cognitive. And then you go through that McDonald's massage and then you come as like a car wash, then you just go out at the other side and then you're like renewed.
Hey, that's a business idea in itself, Kathryn. First drive-through massage. People need it. And I love what you're saying. Like, it's such a great reminder that we are always living in here in our heads. But really, we need to live in our body. And when we live in our body, we're present, which means that then we can create and manifest and all those things. Because when we're living in our head, we're thinking about the future, we're thinking about the past. We're not actually present. When we actually feel our bodies, we're actually feeling, which is like a present moment thing. So, yeah, I just love that you brought that reminder to our audience to just feel your body. And getting a massage is such a great way to feel, especially when you have someone like touching you that you can't not like not be present, right? Yeah.
It's such a great job. It's such a wonderful industry that needs expansion. They need massage therapists actually out there in employment land. There's ads all the time. So it is really something that the aspiring young person can get into, and they'll just be able to benefit from an amazing career.
Beautiful. Kathryn, I'm just like looking at the time. What would you like, before we wrap up, I've got a couple of questions. The first one is, what would you like our audience, our listeners, our viewers, if they're on YouTube, to take away with them after listening to our conversation?
Okay. Maybe from the point of view of massage therapy, I could draw on having taken 25 people through a massage workshop at the Dance Music Festival, Esoteric Festival, which is in Donald in Victoria, and it's in March every year. And I did a massage workshop there, and we got 25 people in, and we did a demonstration on 2 people, one male, one female, just to sort of give some guidance on strokes and techniques and things. And then I got all the 25 people to sit in a circle and put their hands on the neck and shoulders of the other person. And we got this absolutely beautiful massage train going, and everyone's going like up and down, up the neck and down the shoulders. And, and then we went for like maybe 20 minutes or something. But in that experience and time, what I really did see is just how each of the people giving the massage were enjoying just as much as receiving the massage. So I think I would like to just tell everyone to just go and invest in some massage oil. Use the massage oil on your feet at night. Use some moisturizer on your feet and just rub in to the heels and the crevices in between the toes, at the pads of the toes, rub in between there and see how you feel. And then you'll be like, oh, wow, I really feel like I needed that. Do both feet, then you can do your own calves, you can do it yourself, and then just kind of go, wow. And then you'll realize that your shoulders are a little bit sore. So you can just kind of rotate your shoulders. You can do some little head movements like that. And then I always come back to, like, if you have a partner, you can do a shoulder, neck massage. Be about offering, be about listening and offering massage to people in your life, as a gift certificate or as yourself, if you've got the if you've got the skills and the talents and the no fear attitude. That's what you really need to have, because you've just got to get in there, and then you don't feel scared, because they'll give you directions. That if you ask someone if they want a massage, they'll tell you what to do. That would be what I would. That would be my magic to share with people.
Yeah. And yeah, I love it. Thank you for sharing that, because I think everyone needs a massage, and just to feel their body and relax and all the things. I love massages. My husband doesn't. He's very tickly.
Yeah.
And then he starts giggling. I'm like, oh my gosh. But I absolutely love massages, and it's such a beautiful way to receive, to learn to receive as well, because I don't think as humans we get taught to be okay with receiving. So as much as you're giving, you're also allowing the person on your massage table to receive. And when we build that, when we build that receiving muscle, it's not just receiving like a massage, it's also receiving love, receiving kindness, receiving all the good things that are in life. So yeah, thank you so much, Kathryn. And last question for you, what's currently setting your soul on fire?
That's very interesting. Setting my soul on fire. I think I have to say my Magnetic Abundance book launch at the moment, because we're getting our actual real life books in our hands. And I've got so many clients that are like, when are you getting your books? When are you getting your books? So that's really exciting for me. I'm really quite empowered by friends at the moment. So I've made some new friends in this multi-author book arena, which has just been amazing for me. Just to be around like-minded people has just been amazing. So I'm just really excited to be around like-minded people and be feeling their encouragement and being able to offer support, and just being feeling so honoured and so fortunate to be to have people interested in what I've got to say.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Kathryn. It's been such a great conversation with you today. If people want to find out more about you, where they can buy your books or how they can, get a massage from you or anything else that you do, where's the best place to find you?
Okay, so obviously I'm in Melbourne in Victoria, Australia. So my massage service is offered Bayside. So if you're in Bayside, then go for it. You can contact me, facebook.com/Kathryn Toomey Massage. I also have Instagram found at Kataruba. And Instagram for my children's book is Miss Giraffe. So they're the places to find me.
Awesome. I'll have all your details in the show notes so people can reach out to you. Thank you once again, Kathryn.
Thank you. Take care. Get a massage. Thank you.
Yes, I will.